Story time. Working on a 2021 Bronco. The full-size Bronco. This customer went out to see a client of his, and the client hires somebody to go through the lot and make sure the vehicles that are in the lot are supposed to be there. They have parking passes, etc., etc. He didn't have a parking pass. The client forgot to give him one, and the tow company came and towed his vehicle. The client called the tow company immediately and said, "Bring the vehicle back. I forgot to give him a parking pass." So they brought the vehicle back and dropped it off. This customer went out to his vehicle, started the vehicle up, and had all kinds of advanced track lights and ABS lights and everything else on the dash. Took him a little bit of driving, I don't know, a mile or less, for all the lights to clear and it to see an ABS signal and reset everything. Now the guy comes into the dealership and his concern is as such. Do the oil change. Check the 22S44 child door lock feature in the back. Make sure it actually works. It does work. Customer states when coming to a almost complete stop, the vehicle starts lurching. Check and advise. Okay. Another concern. Customer states the following issue. When making parking lot maneuvers, the vehicle will shake, felt most in steering wheel when concern occurs. Check and advise. So I go out to the parking lot and I'm looking at the vehicle and I see a red flag right away. Why is the vehicle in 4 auto on dry pavement? The vehicle is not supposed to be in 4 auto when driving around on dry pavement. Why do I say this? Let's go into the owner's manual here. Let's go to categories. Driving and operation. 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive, well, that's not it. 4-wheel drive precautions. Do not become overconfident in the ability of 4-wheel drive vehicles. Although a 4-wheel drive vehicle may accelerate better than 2-wheel drive in low traction situations, it won't stop any faster than 2-wheel drive. Always drive at safe speed. Vehicles with a higher center of gravity, utility and 4-wheel drive vehicles handle differently than vehicles with lower center of gravity. Avoid sharp turns, excessive speed, abrupt stopping in these vehicles. Failure to drive cautiously increase the risk of losing control of your vehicle rollover, and personal injury and death. Had to read that first. Now, 4-wheel drive limitations. Do not use 4-wheel drive high or 4-wheel drive low mode on dry, hard surface roads. 4-wheel drive auto engages 4 high and 4 low based on situations automatically, right? Or 4 high automatically. 4-wheel drive high or 4-wheel drive low mode is only for use consistently with slippery surfaces and loose surfaces. Use 4-wheel drive low mode on these surfaces could cause some noise such as occasional clunks, but should not damage the drive components. For vehicles with electronic shift on a fly transfer case, the driveline could become mechanically blocked when attempting to shift out of 4-wheel drive mode on dry, hard surface roads. Note, when your vehicle comes with 4x4 part-time scheduled engagement transfer case and you are transitioning from consistently loose or slippery surfaces, be sure the 4-wheel drive system is not mechanically blocked once you are on dry, hard surface roads in 2-wheel drive high. Note, in certain scenarios where the 4-wheel drive system has difficulty engaging, to engage 4-wheel drive slow to 3 mile an hour or to engage 4x4 slow to 5 km an hour message could appear in the instrument cluster. You can also see this message when engaging the 4-wheel drive system in extreme cold climates at the beginning of the drive cycle. Once the driveline warms up, shifting to 4-wheel drive can resume as normal. Operating 4-wheel drive with a spare or mismatched tire. You guys can read that on your own. Point here is, this thing clearly states this vehicle does not need to be in 4-wheel drive when you're on dry, non-slippery pavement, such as today. It's 86 degrees outside, there's no rain, it's dry, everything's clear. This vehicle should not be in 4A at all if you are driving this vehicle. You can feel a difference. There's mechanical binding whenever you go in real slow parking lot maneuvers. You can actually feel the clutch pack in the transfer case, and you can feel it trying to engage 4-wheel drive whenever you're turning and it sees one wheel slip more than the other. Not a good idea to put this in 4A. Leave it in 2 high. Now, on to the situation and why the customer's here. He drives it in 4A. He came and drove the vehicle with me. And I told him, please don't drive this in 4A. Leave it in 2 high from now on, because in 4A, that's when you're getting your binding in slow parking lot maneuvers. And at first it doesn't happen, but once you drive the vehicle a little bit, a couple times around the parking lot, things start to get a little bit warm and moving. Then the 4A, you can feel the clutch pack inside the transfer case binding. So the story is, the vehicle got towed. The customer drives the vehicle in 4A all the time. Well, what happens when you turn the vehicle off? It's still in 4A. The vehicle's off right now. Open the door, let the modules clear, everything's shut down. Okay, now turn it back on. Still in 4A. Still in 4A. That transfer case is still in that mode. So what happens when somebody comes along and tows this vehicle and it's stuck in 4A, in that mode of engagement? All kinds of bad stuff is going to happen, right? And they can't put it in tow mode. These new vehicles have to be put in tow mode or secured properly to be towed, because you will damage the transfer case or the transmission in these units. Now, how do you put it in tow mode? Okay, I'm glad you asked. Or push the brake, shift the vehicle to neutral, go to your settings, clear this out, go to your settings, scroll down to settings, make sure you select 2-wheel drive high. Even if you're in 2-wheel drive high, push it anyway. Neutral tow. All right, so I have to, let me reset this again. There's a procedure. I'm still getting used to this. 2 high. Shift the vehicle to neutral. Go to your settings, go to neutral tow. Let's go back to 4x4. Owner's manual. Close. Type in tow. Towing your vehicle. Towing your vehicle information messages. Towing your vehicle precautions. Come on. Cooperate with me here. I'm looking for recreational towing your vehicle. Automatic transmission. So, switch your vehicle to accessory mode. That means key on, not running. Press the 2H button on the 4-wheel drive mode control. Got it. Press it. Fully press and hold the brake. Shift the transmission to neutral. Okay, we're in neutral. Using the instrument cluster controls on the steering wheel, select settings and then select neutral tow. So settings. Neutral tow. Hold OK to initialize neutral tow. Holding OK. 4x4 shift in progress. Neutral tow enabled, leave transmission in neutral. Now you can shut the vehicle off. You can do all this other. So here, you're going to have that message on the screen, no, neutral tow, everything's shut off. So to get it to come out of neutral tow, you are going to turn the ignition back on. You're going to hold the brake for about 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to shift it and park. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Neutral tow disabled while still holding the brake. So now you've taken it out of neutral tow. Is a towing company going to do that? No, they're not. how are we going to look at the situation now? Well, we went and grabbed a brand new Bronco, took it out in the parking lot, put it in 4A, did some slow parking lot maneuvers, forward and reverse. The clutch back in this transfer case is damaged. You can tell it's probably swollen, it's binding up. It got hot from the tow, from them not putting it in tow mode. These new vehicles, you cannot do that. You will damage the systems on board. Now, I'm looking at the picture here. Here's the transfer case. There's the clutch pack in the transfer case. This clutch pack is probably burned up and it's sticking whenever you're going to turn. Now, I'm going to have to get inside here. Oh, actually, I'm going to check the fluid. If the fluid is bad, I'm going to recommend a whole new transfer case instead of pulling it apart. If they want me to only replace the component that's damaged, I think that's going to be more on the customer. He's going to say put a new transfer case in it. Then I'll do whatever they decide amongst each other because the towing company's paying for everything. So I'm going to pull fluid right now and check it. My message to you guys from what I've showed you so far is these vehicles don't need to be in four-wheel drive on clear, dry days with good pavement, good traction. I don't care what your reason is. I don't care if you're the owner of the vehicle and you'll choose to do what you want to do. There's still a threshold on how the vehicle needs to be operated. If you come into me and you say, oh, I want this covered under warranty, and all of a sudden this stuff is binding and everything else is going on, and I see that vehicle's in 4A all the time, I have the right to say, you know, it's going to be customer pay. That's not going to be warranty. Because it clearly says in your manual to operate these vehicles in two-wheel drive in clear, dry conditions, and you are not doing that. Your way of wanting to do what you want to do as an owner is fine. But when it comes to coming back to the dealership and you spending somebody else's money, it's not okay if you're the one being negligent. So let's move forward. Let's drop the fluid out of this. Oh. Yeah, it's smoked. You could smell the... Yeah, it's smoked. It doesn't even smell. It smells like completely burned fluid now with clutch material in it. Oh yeah. It's smoked. Yeah, that fluid's smoked. This thing's got 9,000 miles on it and it's completely black. I've seen vehicles with 100,000 miles on it and never even get past just the regular red color. This stuff is toast. Yep, no good. Needs a transfer case. Yeah, you can see all the black soot and stuff that's already starting to accumulate. And because it's a clutch drive instead of like gear drive or something like that, they don't put no magnets on them. It's gone. Oops. It's gonna be like a 5-hour job. There is a motor on it. I didn't see the motor right there. Yeah, there is a shift motor and then there's also an electronic clutch. And I was just reading in the manual that it says, if you read right here where it says the transfer case is command via mode select switch and the all-wheel drive module. The transfer case is electronically shifted via a shift motor mounted on the front of the transfer case. The transfer case is filled with lubricating oil which is circulated using a mechanical oil pump. The oil pump is fitted to a strainer to filter any debris. In four-wheel drive mode, there is no speed differential between the front and rear axles because this can cause driveline wind-up when cornering on sealed surfaces. Like I said, the advanced 4x4 with 4A mode transfer case is the center of the all-wheel drive system. It is a gearbox that attaches to the output of the transmission through a splined input at the transfer case. Torque from the transmission is transferred to the front and rear drive shaft depending on the all-wheel drive mode. The transfer case is equipped with an electronically controlled high torque capacity clutch which is located inside the case. The clutch is used to synchronize the speed of the front driveline with the rear driveline during two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive high, during two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive high, or four-wheel drive auto 4A shifts, which that's what this guy leaves it in. The clutch also provides torque to the front driveline in all four-wheel drive modes. The transfer case is lubricated by a positive displacement fluid pump that channels fluid through holes in the rear of the output shaft. This is why driving around in any of the four-wheel drive modes is not going to benefit this thing. I don't care if you're the owner of the vehicle or not. Just don't do it. Put it in two-wheel drive until you're on a slippery, icy, muddy, or snowy surface. That's the only modes it's intended for. That's it. Point blank. Or four-wheel drive off-road. The wheels need to be able to slip. I'm going to use this, just a 12-volt transfer pump that I ended up picking up a while ago from Harbor Freight to put the fluid back in. Yeah, fill it back up temporarily.
For what? It's fun.
Yeah, the guy ain't gonna leave it here. He's gotta drive it around in two-wheel drive.
Oh, he's not gonna do anything like that?
No, he wants to drive it. Plus, we gotta wait a month for parts. This thing pumps fast. Hey, this is how fast it is, Kevin. Huh? Look, this is how fast it is.
Wow, that's decent.
Fucking comes out hard, man.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'll edit it out.
Well, I fixed that stuff on the.
So the status on the transfer case is it won't be released to the packager until 8/9 of 22, and then we probably won't see it until the end of the month. We still don't have confirmation or authorization on repair from the towing company, so we're waiting on that first before we can order it. I did put new fluid in the transfer case and drove it around. It did get a little better, but there's the clutch pads are the clutch discs probably warped inside that drum that's in the transfer case. And basically what it is, you have a motor to put it in 4 high and 4 low, but you also have a electronic clutch pack that engages and disengages based on drive shaft speed, front and rear, and it tries to match them perfectly by applying and releasing inside the transfer case. It's a way to control drive shaft speed better, so both drive shafts are turning at the same rate. When you put it in 4A, you really wear that clutch pack out, and then when you tow it as well and you don't have it in towing mode, these types of things happen. So stand by. We'll wait to see what happens, and we'll pull the old transfer case apart and actually open the drum up if we get confirmation when the new transfer case comes in. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Keep your vehicle in 2 high if you don't need to be in 4-wheel drive. Don't ride around in 4A. It's silly.